Hey guys, I'm going to try to solve a flexible budget performance report problem from the chapter 23. It's exercise 2317. The problem reads top managers of Marshall Industries predicted 2018 sales of 14,800 units of product at a unit price of $9.50. Actual sales for the year were 14,600 units at $12 each. Variable costs were budgeted at $2 per unit, and actual variable costs were $210 per unit. Actual fixed costs of $48,000 exceeded budgeted fixed costs by $4,000. Prepare Marshall's fixed budget performance report. What variance contributed most to the year's favorable results? What caused this variance? Okay, so we have to prepare a flexible budget performance report, and I have the basic structure of a flexible budget performance report here. The title, what it is, the company, the title, and the date. And here are the columns that we need: the actual results, flexible budget variance, flexible budget, sales volume variance, and static budget. Also have a couple columns over here for doing calculations. Then moving to the rows, you need units, sales revenue, variable cost, contribution margin, fixed cost, operating income. This is the same structure from previous chapters. It's just a miniature little income statement, basically. So let's go ahead and fill out what we know. We'll do it. We'll follow the prompt. So it says predicted sales of 14,800 units. That goes in the static budget because it's predicted. So we'll put 14,800 here. And then it says at a unit price of $9.50. So that $9.50, we're going to use that to calculate our sales revenue. I'm going to put it out here to the side because we'll also need it for other calculations. So I'll just leave it there. $9.50. Okay, so actual sales for the year were 14,600 units at $12 each. So actual units 14,600, and those are $12 and $12 even. Okay, variable costs were budgeted at $2 per unit, so we'll move down to the variable cost. Budgeted, static budget, $2 per unit. Obviously, we'll have to multiply times the number of units, but we'll do that in a second. $2 per unit. Actual variable costs were $210 per unit. Okay, so we'll put that here for calculation purposes. Actual fixed costs were $48,000. So actual fixed costs move down here. 48,000. Exceeded budgeted fixed costs by 4,000. So budgeted, we'll take away 4,000, 42,000. Okay, so now that we have everything from the prompt, let's go ahead and make the calculation. So to calculate the sales revenue, you take the number of units times the price. So we'll take this times this. Okay. We'll do the same thing here to get the sales units times the price. Okay. To calculate the contribution margin, you simply take, we're doing the variable costs. So the variable costs equal the cost per unit times the number of units. Okay, we'll do that again over here. Cost per unit, which was 210, times the number of units. Okay, going back to the static budget, to calculate contribution margin, you take the sales revenue minus the variable cost. And we'll do the same thing here. Sales revenue minus the variable costs. Okay. And then to get the operating income, you calculate contribution margin minus fixed cost. And we do the same thing here. Contribution margin minus fixed cost. Okay? Wait. Let's go back. Okay? So none of that is new. We did that in previous chapters. So now all we have to do is put in the flexible budget column and then compare this flexible budget both to the actual and to the static budget. So we know the units for a flexible budget are always going to match the actual budget. So let's go ahead and put that in. 14,600. 14,600. Okay. Now the flexible budget is constructed based on if this static budget flexed to this amount of units, what would this sales revenue number be if this number of units was produced? So we just take the budgeted amount here and multiply it times the flexible budget because it flexed 200 units. So let's take this times the budgeted amount. Same thing with variable cost. We take the variable cost, the budget amount, times the number of units. And then the contribution is the same calculation. Same thing as we've done in previous chapters. Fixed cost for a static budget are going to be the same thing for any flexible budget, regardless of the direction, whether they're more or less, because fixed cost stays the same. So that's the same. And then operating income simply equals the contribution margin minus fixed cost. Okay? So now we have all the columns filled out. All we have to do is compare the columns to each other, and that will give us our sales volume variance and our flexible budget variance. So that's pretty easy in Excel. We just do this minus this equals, and we can put favorable. We sold more units, so presumably that's favorable. This static budget minus flexible budget. Our sales revenue was less, so that's an unfavorable outcome. This equals this minus this. Our variable costs were lower, so that's favorable. Okay. Our contribution margin was lower, it looks like. Okay. That's unfavorable. Okay. Our fixed costs were the same, so we're going to just leave that blank. And then our overall operating income was lower, it looks like, for our flexible budgets, so that is unfavorable. We'll do the same thing here. Units are the same for an actual budget and a flexible budget, so the flexible budget variance doesn't exist in that case. And our sales revenue was higher, so that's favorable. Let's see. Our variable costs were higher. That's unfavorable. Costs are, and then our contribution margin was higher. That's a favorable outcome. Okay. And our fixed costs were higher. That's unfavorable. And then our operating income was higher. It's favorable. All right. So we'll just save that. And it looks like we've filled everything out. It's a pretty simple calculation. All you have to really remember is that this flexible budget column uses these units for the actual units. However, it uses the static budget calculations, the static budget costs. So it multiplies based on the units actually produced at the prices that were originally budgeted. And that's how this flexible budget column is calculated. And then you simply cross over and compare each side and then decide whether that has a favorable outcome on operating income or unfavorable outcome on operating income, depending on if it's a revenue or an expense. So I've completed this problem previously, and I just want to compare the results to make sure that I in fact did everything correctly. I went through it a little bit quickly, so let's quickly copy and paste just to make sure everything checks out. Okay, I'm going to do just a quick rundown. 175, 30, 144, 48, 96, 540, and 36, 5, 14, 60, 35, 040, 4,000. Wait a second, right here. This is supposed to be 4,000. It's 48 and 42, 48 and 42. Okay, this is supposed to be 44. Okay, so that's because I counted this wrong. It's actual fixed costs are 48,000. Actual fixed costs are 48,000. Exceeded budgeted fixed costs by 4,000. So that's 48 minus 4 is 44, not 42. I'm glad I checked. Okay, so that changes the numbers, obviously. It's still unfavorable, favorable. And we got 31,040 after the revision. 138, 29,2, 29,2, 109, 500, 109, 500, 44,000, 44,000, 65,5, 65,5, 1,900, 400, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500. Wait a second here. Oh yeah, obviously I made a change, so this is equal to this minus this. Okay. 69,000. Where did I get 67,000? Let's check these numbers again. 140, 29, 6, 111, 42. Oh, okay. This is that same change from previously. There we go. 67,000, 67,000, 1,500, 1,500. So there we go. I did it a little bit hurriedly, but I think you guys did get the picture. I got it correct, but just remember to read carefully. That's a good demonstration, to read carefully the prompt and make sure that if there's anything like that, it says actual fixed cost of 48,000 exceeded budgeted fixed cost by 4,000, that you subtract 48 and 4, and you'll get 44 rather than getting 42, which I originally wrote. So that's how you prepare a flexible budget performance report. And I'm pretty sure this will be on the test because it was a major emphasis in class. So hope this helps, and good luck to everyone on the test.